Yeah, you guys think you've been smoking blunts and shit. Look here. This is not any kind of financial advice. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do. And I'm going to give you some evidence to back it up. Stuff that I've thought for the longest time. Give you, yeah, the Red Wings. 25 years in a row in the playoffs. That's all the way back to 1991. That Sergei, what the fuck is his name? I can't remember. 91 on the Red Wings. Fedorov, Sergei Fedorov, rookie year, 1991. Been in the playoffs every year since. Not that they're going anywhere. The Red Wings are going anywhere. They're building a new stadium down in Woodward in the theater district by the new Tigers and the Lions stadiums. Where, if you probably don't know, but in the 90s we went from Barry Sanders to they started building the new stadium to Joy Harrington style football. So that's what usually happens. Same with the Tigers. Go from Cecil Fielder to Bobby Higginson type of baseball. Yeah, you probably don't know who. Never mind about Bobby Higginson. But that's what usually happens to teams. They build a new stadium, and then they have all their capital invested in that, and they have shit teams for about half a decade. So expect that from the Wings. Same thing happened to them. I mean, where they're playing, and they're actually in Florida somewhere. They're not playing at the Joe, but the same thing happened with the Wings in 1980 after they built the Joe Louis. They went down to crap. I think they got Yzerman and a bunch of other people. They made the playoffs in '87, but then the team fell apart, and then they got Fedorov in '91, and that's the thing. I like to watch sports, but I'm not like consumed by it. They're gonna suck. It's probably the last year because the stadium will be completed next year or the year after. They were working on it last year. But anyways, what is it? Anyways, what the video? What was I? Oh, the coins. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The first time I ever bought a pop in my life. I don't think I was that old. I knew it was over 5, but I was younger than 10. But I bought a regular can of pop. It had to be in the mid-70s for a quarter, 25 cents. That's how much, in my lifetime, they debased the currency. You can't buy pop for 25 cents anywhere. I remember more when pop was 60 cents a bottle. It was a little older. It was a paper boy. Like all empires, they debased the currency. Roman Empire done it. What do you think the pound sterling is supposed to be? The pound sterling is supposed to be silver. Sterling, silver. This piece is from when I was buying silver back in the 90s. This is the 1999 commemoration silver dollar. U.S. Silver Eagle. $5. Bought this for $5 in 1999. $16 an ounce, just in metal, and then this because it's a Silver Eagle. There's a premium. I don't think you can get them for less than 20. But this one here is worth a lot more because it's commemorative or whatever. It's special. Here's a half ounce of gold. It's a gold eagle. This used to be a $20 gold piece. This used to be $20 in the 1930s. So why am I bringing this up? Because for the longest time I'd said they've been manipulating the metals market. Because you cannot have inflation in food prices and deflation in metal prices. Try not to laugh. This is pretty funny stuff.
They just pretend that you're in the Fed meeting and Rob Kirby was invited to the meeting, and what would you be hearing the Board of Governors, or what would you be hearing Yellen telling the president and vice president, you're just sitting back there on the other side of the president's desk, and you're one of his consultants. And what do you think Yellen would be telling the president and vice president right now? What do you think she'd be telling?
My guess is that they're probably explaining to them just how deep the poo is that they're about to be thrown into, and they're probably talking about, well, how deep is it? And it's deep, and it's going to be over their head.
And you think that the poo that you're talking about is a dramatic reduction in the value of the dollar, which will damage America's ability to project its power around the world?
I do believe so. I think it's of the time to happen now. We're at the 0 hour where this is going to get unrolled or unfurled. It's coming. Anybody who's ignoring what's going on, I'll just tell you something. Get your head out of the sand. This is coming.
Our next guest came on about a month ago and predicted, there's something big coming down in the precious metals markets. Something big. A big bank is going to cop to manipulating the precious metals markets, i.e. the silver market. And what happened this past week, and here we have it. Deutsche Bank confirms silver market manipulation and legal settlement, agrees to expose other banks. This is the headline I grabbed from Zero Hedge, that they are agreeing to settlement. I went ahead and printed a letter off that goes to the Southern District Judge in New York, saying yes, their law firm says yes, Deutsche Bank has agreed to settle and expose other banks. It's a real deal. And the person that first came on didn't give the names. I don't even think said it was Europe, but didn't give the names and said, oh, yeah, there's something big coming down. Well, it's Rob Kirby from Kirby Analytics. Thank you for joining us today on USAWatchdog.com. You, sir, can take a bow.
There's no reason to take a bow, Greg, at all. The exposure of this criminal activity in the precious metals markets has been going on for a very, very long time.
Oh, no, it hasn't, Rob. We're all crazy tinfoil hat wearing people. No, we've been told we're nuts.
Well, no, apparently not so much anymore. And shame on the enablers, the people carrying the water for this manipulation that's been going on probably for at least 20 years in the precious metals markets. And all I can say to you, Greg, if it's happening in silver, it's happening in gold, in spades as well. And this is just the thin edge of the wedge in terms of exposure of this criminal activity. And for all the foolish, moronic naysayers who for years and years have been dismissive and deriding the work of the likes of Chris Powell and Bill Murphy at GATA, who've been documenting and exposing this criminal activity that's been going on for, like I say, for 20 years, and the people who have shilled for the establishment, because this is a game. This rigging of the precious metals is a game that's actually I'm going to say it's Anglo-American centric, but more specifically, the marching orders in the silver and gold price manipulation, the epicenter of it all, and the marching orders come out of the U.S. Treasury and out of the U.S. Federal Reserve. They are the people that actually enact the rigging and give the marching orders to the banks who are now finding themselves caught up in a web that really they were just doing the grunt work for officialdom.
Well, this settlement only mentions HSBC and Bank of Nova Scotia, and I'm thinking, you mean there's no American banks involved? Or maybe that's what it means to expose other banks. Is that what this settlement is saying? That the other shoes are going to drop, and they're going to drop over here?
Well, ultimately, Greg, the price rigging ultimately will come back to be shown that it's really an operation of the U.S. Treasury and the U.S. Federal Reserve. Because you see, Greg, in this world there's a thing called qui bono, or who benefits, and you follow the money. You see, precious metals have historically been the best alternative to fiat money, and the top dog in the world, in the fiat money world, is the U.S. dollar, which is currently the world's reserve currency, meaning that dollars are used to settle all international trade accounts. So the alternative to the dollar right now, because a lot of dollars have been printed, many more on an historic basis have been printed in the last number of years than anybody would have imagined, and this is fertile ground historically for the price of precious metals, both gold and silver, to be bid up. And this has actually been occurring because the demand for precious metals has been going up geometrically over the past 5 or 6 years, 7 years. And the short interest or the paper sales of precious metals has been used on purpose to suppress the growing demand for precious metals, or to make it appear that people are still happy with dollars and don't prefer precious metal to dollars. You see, this is the same thing. This is the same thing that happened. The way history rhymes or repeats itself, back in the 60s and leading up to the 71 closing of the gold window by President Nixon, America was printing too much money, and they basically were out of control with their spending with regards to what was going on in Southeast Asia with the Vietnamese conflict. And it was France, and it was de Gaulle specifically in France, who ordered France to redeem their dollars, knowing that America was printing too many of them, and he ordered France to redeem their dollars for gold, in the U.S. And of course, this led to hubris on the part of U.S. leadership, saying our dollar is as good as gold. And to which de Gaulle famously answered, "Then give me gold."
All right, look at the guy to port. Look at the left one. He is on the deck. On the deck, below the bridge wing. Over the bow, right turn, over the bow.
And Vice President Joe Biden met with Yellen on Monday in an emergency meeting. The reports were based on the crisis-like feel of the meetings. This was a first, to have the President and Vice President meeting directly with the Fed head. Does it have something to do with the survival of the government at a time when the U.S. banking system may be facing a general default?